welcome back to the vlog. As you can probably tell, we finally got the new dashboard for the A31 Cefiro project. Guys, I'm super excited to see what's inside this box. I mean, I've seen it obviously in pictures and where I got it in Yahoo Auction Japan, but I haven't seen it in person yet. So I don't want to waste any more time, but before I open the box, do you think you guys can still remember what it was, or do you think you have an idea what it could be inside? If you guys probably remember, I sold the S15 dash setup. That was one of the original projects I wanted to do a long time ago, but unfortunately plans changed, which is why we have our new dash. Oh, there it is, inside that box. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this bad boy open and we're gonna see what we got right inside. You ready to check it out? Let's go ahead and open it up. Can you guys figure out what it is? That's right, guys. It is a C33 Laurel Dash. Now you might be thinking, Dustin, why did you buy a C33 dash when you had a beautiful S15 dash ready to put in the car? Well, I bought this one for two reasons. Number one, the S15 dash was gonna take a lot of cutting and making it fit to actually make it work. I've seen it done, actually I've seen it done locally here in Malaysia, where a dude had a whole setup from an S15 in his A31 Cefiro. The problem is that he also had the S15 motor, and I was planning on doing the S15 motor swap into the car as well to make it all plug and play, which is why I had all the wiring and everything ready to go. But unfortunately, obviously, like I told you before, plans change, and I ended up putting the RB20 DET in the car. So I wanted to come up with a different plan. I figured, you know what, a lot of guys locally here are doing R32 Skyline dashes, but I don't want an R32 Skyline dash because number one, it doesn't even line up to the car perfectly. I mean, it's very, very close, it bolts in pretty well, but to me, I don't know, I just don't like the way it lines up with the door panels. It's not even, and I don't know, to me, my OCD would probably go a little crazy. In fact, probably even with the S15 dash, my OCD would go a little crazy as well. But I got this one over here. This one actually bolts right into the car. Everything matches to the frame, and it's plug and play. I mean, the A31 and the C33 are pretty much the same chassis. The only difference is maybe the door panels and I think some other little things here and there. But the cool thing is the front door panels from the C33 Laurel bolt right up to the A31. So that's gonna match up to our C33 dash perfectly. And that's one thing I was really, really stoked about. The other reason I got this particular dashboard from Japan instead of somewhere here locally in Malaysia or close by was because this one was super, super clean, and it comes with the gray cloth, which for me was very hard to find. In fact, just finding a dash that wasn't broken and cracked all over the place was hard enough. I mean, you guys probably saw my original dash. I'll probably pull it out here in a second so you guys can compare the two to see what they look like. But yeah, this one's in a lot better condition. Let's go ahead and show you over here the condition. So as you can see, it still has one of the air conditioning vents here that my old dash from the A31 was completely melted and broken. Then over here you can see there's no scratches, there's no marks on it, there's no like, I don't know, it's just, there's no cracks anywhere in it at all. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but I mean, it's a whole lot closer than what I had before. And I actually have the vent here, which is over here. This is probably the only thing that was bad on it, was there's this little line right here that goes from here to here, that's cracked. But all in all, that's not that big of a deal considering this piece is discontinued. I actually tried to see if I could buy it, but I couldn't. So it just pops in here. Then, of course, there's other little sensors and things that can fill in the plugs here that I can buy secondhand, or I can buy, I think maybe I can still buy some of them new from Nissan. I'm not sure, but I don't know, we'll go down that road when the time comes. But they also have this gray cloth, which is like a suede material right here. And I really, really like that. And you can see there's no rips. It's not sagging. Some of the dashes that I saw online had this piece like sagging and falling off. And it has the matching piece over here, which is also still in really good condition. And another cool thing about it, I should say, is that some of the trim pieces from the A31 will also fit, which I do have. But I think there's a panel that goes across over here that has a little clock that goes in here, and then the air conditioning setup goes in here. But this piece I have to still find, which is not a big deal. I've seen those in Japan online, no big deal. And then there's a dash trim here, which I don't know if the one from the A31 fits. We'll test it out and see, because I do have that one, but it's broken. I'm gonna end up changing that anyway, but wouldn't be hurting to just go ahead and see if it fits. And then this also, I don't know if it's the same as the A31, which I do have on the old dash, which I'm gonna also, again, see if it fits. If not, we'll just go ahead and buy a new one. I pulled out the A31 dash and the C33 dash so you guys can see them side by side and see what they look like next to each other. And they're obviously very, very similar because of the way they were manufactured and at the time they were manufactured. And you can see everything from the inside over here bolts up. So all the mounting points are the same. This is my old nasty A31 dashboard that's all like dirty and grimy and this giant crack here all the way going down, and it's all of these things like completely deteriorated when I try to pull it apart and take it out of the dash. And then over here everything's all intact, everything looks fantastic. That's the exciting part. So, and then here's what I was talking about earlier where the air vents over here are all melted and disgusting. I guess this is pretty common. This thing happens all the time. And then over here, minty fresh. But what I'm noticing is it looks like, this is a very common issue apparently also. So it looks like this vent is about the same size as that hole. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that out. Not right now, I don't wanna pull this apart right now. I got something else I gotta work on today. But I will be test fitting that to see if it fits. And then over here, you can see where all of the other stuff is all identical to what you see over here. So that's pretty exciting. But it does look like this one large trim piece that goes right here is not gonna fit over here. The gap is way too small on that one compared to this one. Actually, I don't know. They're pretty similar now that I'm looking at it again. Let's see. You know what? I don't know. This piece is pretty pointy over here, whereas this one's a lot more rounded here. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and grab the piece and see if it fits. I gotta get rid of all these parts and put them in the car. Yeah, that's a fail. Definitely doesn't line up at all. Pretty close, but no cigar. So I'm definitely gonna have to buy that trim piece, and then the trim piece that goes across over here, which is like this faux wood. I don't think it's real wood, but there's like a wooden panel that's supposed to go here, or a plastic wood covered piece. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So all in all, maybe I have to get the vent here. Definitely gonna have to get this trim piece, the upper trim piece, and that one I already have. And then I'm gonna have to get either some sensors or plugs to go into those two holes over there. So all in all, I'm pretty stoked about the parts that I got here. I can't wait to actually get the dash mounted up in the Cefiro eventually, and you know, just be able to see how much more modernized it's gonna clean up the interior. In fact, I'm actually gonna be buying some C33 door panels that'll match up to the dash panel to just really finish off the whole look. I really wanna clean it up, make it look a lot nicer. And the stuff that's in my Cefiro right now, as you probably have seen, isn't of the nicest condition. I really wanna clean it up, make it look a lot fresher, and just kinda get rid of that old look that it has already. But anyway, I have a few things that I want to go ahead and do to the motor. Nothing too exciting. I'm going to go ahead and take out the old power steering pump that I had in the car, so that way the new one that's on the R32 motor can bolt right up just fine. Trying to think of what else. I just have some like little seals that I have to do to change the hoses. So let's go ahead and change that out and see how the motor's looking so far. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that we're going to be swapping out. And yes, I did shave in between clips. So anyway, we're going to be swapping out this fuel pressure regulator because the one on my car doesn't exist. This is the actual one that I got from N60 Auto Parts. So I'm gonna be using this one to change it over. And I do also have some new hoses that I'm gonna be using because this one's pretty old and brittle. I mean, it still has some flex in it if you notice, but it's just the piping is old and it's starting to wear out here, and I don't want to trust my fuel system. But the reason I didn't put it on yet is because I was waiting on this little O-ring guy right here. And here's the part number in case you want to buy one. But yeah, I definitely don't want to be trusting some older stuff, because I mean, look, you can tell it's really old and dirty and stuff, and something so simple like this, just better to change it while it's off. And then I'm gonna also change out this coolant line right here, which is something I'll show you guys here in a second. But the one on my car is really old, and in fact, there's a little metal housing where the water goes through that I need to get off and take off and clean. And also, I'm going to be swapping out some of these hose clamps as well. I'm also going to be swapping out the power steering reservoir as well as the power steering pump. Well, the new one is actually on the engine right now as it is, but the problem is the old one is still attached to the car with the reservoir, so I need to take that off. The reason why I hadn't done that yet is I was waiting on a couple little O-ring seals for the power steering line to connect to the actual power steering pump, and I actually got all that stuff in the mail. So let's go ahead and swap it out. So that's the water hose that we're going to be changing out, and we're actually going to take this piece off as well, because honestly I tried to take it off before, but because this hose is so old, it's like rock hard. I'm going to have to just cut it off, I think, because Yeah, it's not gonna come off on its own. And I wanna take this off, clean out the inside, because look at that, that's just really gross, and I don't want that running through my coolant system. And then over here, I'll show you guys what I was talking about. This is the old power steering reservoir that was on the RB20E. That's the one that came with the Skyline engine, which I already have attached. But the problem is that one of the I think it's the high pressure line, or I don't know, whatever the case is, one of the lines that goes there is still attached over here. So what we need to do is unhook that hose right there, if you guys can see it, and then attach it over there with our new seals. And then our new fuel pressure regulator is gonna go from here, and it's gonna connect to these hoses over here and all the way down to our fuel filter down there, as well as the fuel line that's already down there. You can see the hose ends right here, but gotta connect all that together, and then we should have all of our fuel system lined up and ready to go, as well as our power steering. Ooh, you know what? I think we got a bit of a problem. I just realized that that metal pipe right there is connected to this housing right here, which is making it so I can't get this hose off. If I try and take the other thing off here, somewhere down there inside the engine, I don't know if there's like a seal or something, and I'm not prepared for that because I don't have any extra seals or gaskets or anything else for down there. So yeah, I think we're kind of screwed on this one, guys. I think we're just gonna have to live with it for now until we decide to later change it or hope for the best. But I guess the best thing we can do at least is clean out this little hose right here, because that thing is looking really disgusting, and I don't know, let's see if we can see inside. Yeah, that's pretty nasty inside. I'm trying to get a light to shine in there, but it's a little hard with this angle. There you go, you can kind of see that's pretty nasty in there. So we're gonna see if we can just at least clean it out. Well, that's just gonna have to do, I guess. I guess later on down the road, whenever we take this thing all apart again, we'll just swap it out then. So it looks like we got another problem here. This stupid screw right here is stripped out and it won't come off, and I don't have any like hard clamp pliers to pry it off. Luckily I was able to use some of the other screws from the other side, so I'm not going to be without the hardware. I just took it from this side over here, but getting this one off is going to be a pain right now. Well, it looks like we're 0 for 2 today, guys. I don't know, it doesn't look like we're going to make very much progress. We still have the power steering pump to do, but between this and the other hose thing, that I don't know, man. I don't think today's gonna be a very good day for installs, but the good news is at least I can probably take this down to my school, and we have some other tools, like we have a workshop down there for the kids to use, so they might have some tools down there that I could use that'll be able to hopefully get that screw out of there. Ooh, well, we got at least one small victory out of today, guys. We were able to get the power line on, and man, that thing was a pain in the butt. That had to be the hardest thing I've ever pulled off of this car, and that's considering all this other stuff that on the engine itself. But yeah, anyway, we got that line on. You gotta make sure when you do put it back on that you line up the hole, because there's like a hole for the fluid to go through from the line. So you gotta make sure you line it up diagonally with this F. So that's at least where I found it to be. And so that way the fluid can drain through the power pump, the power steering pump, and into the steering rack. So anyway, guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and just call it a day because I'm completely exhausted, and there's not a whole lot left to do for today considering I couldn't get those other parts on. So that's okay. I think we'll be able to have time next time to be able to do it. And we're just gonna close that out here. So anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Stick around for more of this car build and all these other cool stuff that we have going on. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.